I'll call the meeting to order. Can please do the roll call?
Jim,
Here.
Heather,
Yes.
Chris,
Here.
Yes.
Sally,
Present.
Philip, John, Marita.
Here.
Do we have any amendments to the agenda for today's meeting? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any amendment to the minutes from the previous meeting? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any public comments that are unrelated to agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move on. We have the consent calendar, acceptance and scheduling of an application from Don Hughes, Laura Rose, Seth McCallum for replat of lots T1, T1A, T2, T3, T4, T5 of the Tidelands edition of ATS 9, lots 9 and 8, block 219, US Survey 2499, and lots 8 and 9 of ATS 113, and a portion of US Survey located at 1173, located 1173 located at 1208, 1212, 1216 South Nordic Drive. Do you have a motion to accept this for the calendar for next meeting?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Will we get really good maps for this?
It's
you
a lot
think?
of tiny little lots, so it'll be
Yeah.
okay.
So we'll be able to read them, see them and check them off.
I think it's actually in your packet, page 7 right now.
Yeah, there's a pretty good map there.
7.
I was having a little trouble figuring out exactly where it is because there's not a area map, but
Yeah, we'll have the
Yeah.
area and vicinity map for the
Okay.
packet.
okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep. Thank you, Liz.
thank you. Okay, moving on to public hearing items. We have an application from Tyler and Olivia Reed for a minor subdivision with a variance from the minimum frontage requirement at 419 Mitkoff Highway. Do we have any public testimony? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I move to
Pages.
approve the Stillwater subdivision with the variance from the lot frontage requirement at 419 Mitkoff Highway with the findings of fact as presented.
Second.
Discussion.
I don't need any.
It looks pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, it looks real straightforward. I think it's a go for me.
I think it's probably the best way to subdivide that piece of property, so.
Absolutely.
And
And
having that flag road is good too.
yeah, and that'll work, will help with the building lots in the community, so I think it's a good idea. Any further discussion? Please do the roll call.
Jim,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Sally,
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Marita.
Yes.
We have consideration of an application from Greg and Heidi Johnson for a variance from the front yard setback requirement to allow for construction of a residence 5 feet from the property line at 811 Sandy Beach Road. This one's just dealing with the setback, so. Do we have a motion? Or do we have any public testimony, I should say first? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I move to approve a variance from the 20-foot. Am I on the right one? Yes.
Yes.
20-foot yard setback requirement to allow for construction of a dwelling 5 feet from the property line at 811 Sandy Beach Road, along with findings of fact is presented. No, I'm excusing myself to get a drink of water.
Okay. Do we have a second
Second.
discussion?
So I was curious about the right of way. So originally, apparently it was state highway.
Mhm.
And when the borough assumed the land, they didn't change the right of way variance. So when they're talking about a 5 foot setback, it's actually 5 feet from that right of way.
From the right of way, yes.
Right. So, because I was a little confused at that. So that's why I asked that question.
And in the, for a record for people who are newer on the commission, in the past, we have given variances for this reason because that right of way is so wide at that area. So,
And especially out on South Nordic, out by your sister's house. The birds and stuff, we had to do it too there. Because they're right on the road.
so. Any further questions, discussion? Okay. Oh, no problem.
I think we should discuss the letter that was sent in protest of it. It was stating that Planning Commission staff states the application does not show.
That relates to the next one.
Oh,
Marita.
is that
This
on the relate-
Lot coverage one.
This
Oh.
was specifically
letters.
just the
Oh,
frontage.
okay.
variance.
Okay. Get back on track now that I can breathe. Okay.
I mean, the main reason for having the front yard setback is to allow good visibility and stuff for people pulling on and off the road. Because the right of way is so wide there, I don't really have a problem with this one. So I think it's fine. So any other discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to speak in opposition to this one. I'm a little bit concerned about this carrying on down that road. We have one example of it already, and I look at that one every day. And I think it just sort of, you drive down that road and you go by every house, and then there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb, and you go on down. So everybody's, building off the road, and I think it's just aesthetically better to leave it that way. So I'm not going to be in support of this, Mr. Chair.
So
Okay.
can I just make a comment that you realize this is actually 46 feet off the road?
Yes, I do.
Okay, okay.
I'm just in opposition to it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Well, I'm curious, how many other homes that you drive by that have such a variance? We've been granting them. The commission has
We've
been
granted them,
granting
it's usually to go within like 5 feet instead of the 20 feet from that right of way. So, and because the right of way is so big there, it's not like we're giving them 40 feet sticking out toward the road. It's 5-10 feet usually. So in this case, it'd be 15 feet. So I don't usually see too much trouble with that as long, it's because they've got such a wide right of way there. There's 40 some feet of right or 50 feet of right of way.
And I confess I drove that road, but it was like last week or something. So now I'm trying to visualize the other homes that might be lining up with it, or will it also stick out? Well, like just sticking out, beyond, like if you look down a row of houses and you can
Yeah.
see some are
It-
tucked away, some are maybe closer to the road.
I just drove down the road just because of that kind of a question. And you look at Del Johnson's house, it's set way down toward the beach, and you go down to where Ellis used to live that sold the property to the people that are requesting this. And that's way down toward the water. And then the right of way probably gets a little narrower because you get the next lot, which belongs to Gloria Omer, that's a little bit closer to the road because of the right of way. But it changes that particular area there. All the houses are way down off the road.
All right. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Heather,
Yes.
Sally,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Philip,
No.
Marita,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
John,
No.
Okay. Moving on. Let's go back here where we are. Consideration of an application from Greg and Heidi Johnson for variance from the maximum lot coverage requirement to allow for construction of a residence with 43% lot coverage at 811 Sandy Beach Road. Do we have any public testimony? Liz, just for clarification, what is the coverage amount that's normally allowed? So how much was this going over?
It's usually a maximum of, not usually, it is a maximum of 35%.
Okay, that's just, I want to know, so we're going over 8% is what's being asked for. Okay, do we have a motion?
I move to approve a variance from the 20-foot front yard setback requirement to allow for construction of a dwelling 5 feet from the property line at 811 Sandy Beach Road. Oops, I'm reading the wrong one.
Reading the wrong one.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I apologize. Sorry.
Page 31.
I move to approve a variance from the maximum lot coverage required to allow for construction of a dwelling covering 43% of the lot at 811 Sandy Beach Road, along with the findings of fact.
Second.
Do we have a second?
I just did.
Okay. Discussion.
Looks pretty big.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I'll be the negative Nelly on this one too. I think it's, I will concur with Del Johnson's letter sent in regard to this variance.
Okay. Any further comments, discussion? Seeing what other people said in the findings of fact.
Well, yeah, just one other quick comment from me is these folks, when they bought the property, they knew the size of the property they were buying, and I think they should have planned for their coverage according to the present rules and regulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Put this giant house on this property. And I live on Sandy Beach on the upper side. And now when I drive, there's so many homes that have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't see the water anymore when you're driving by. You know, it's kind of sad that we're allowing this to happen.
Any further comments, discussion? Questions? All right, would you please do the roll call?
I see Greg is on,
He's on.
Did you want to make a comment, Greg? Yep.
You're muted at the moment.
The lot coverage. Repeat your question.
You're going to have to repeat yourself.
Are you reviewing the setback of the house or the lot coverage?
Lot coverage.
Have you already reviewed the setback?
Yes,
And what was your decision on that?
the setback passed. So
Okay,
we're allowing the variance on the setback.
okay. I only have one thing to say on the lot coverage. Under normal platting procedures, unless the borough was planning on expanding Sandy Beach Road, the 45 feet or so of land in front of the lot would be part of lot. If that were part of the lot, then our lot coverage would calculate to 34%. Because it is not part of the lot, then we exceed the 35% coverage. That's all I have to say on it. Is if it were platted with normal setbacks, etc., it would comply. But this portion of Sandy Beach has this extra right of way held by the city, so it doesn't.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments?
He just answered the question that I was curious about.
Okay.
And unfortunately, this is a situation where because the borough or city at the time didn't change the zoning, he stuck with this percentage, but in all reality, if you include that in his property, he does meet the criteria.
Big if.
Well, everybody else in that, I haven't lived here long enough to know. I'm just telling you from my perspective.
I have a huge setback or right of way in front of my property too, not that I built up by the road, but it's something you know about before purchasing too. Like John was saying about lot size.
Yeah, they can be quite large, especially when you're along the highway, like my property is at the south end of my property is setback 75 feet. So, yeah, so. All right, any further comments? All right, please do the roll call.
John,
No.
Philip,
No.
Marita,
Yes.
Chris,
No.
Heather,
No.
Sally,
No.
Jim,
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, any commissioner comments?
What is the date for the September meeting?
It is the 12th.
Oh, good, because I start the election on the 13th.
I'm gonna be out of town and I won't be able to Zoom.
Okay. Anybody else going to be out of town? I should be in town.
I think I'll be gone.
Okay. All right. We should have a quorum though, so that'll be good. Any staff comments?
No, I was just going to say that we do have agenda items for September, so a quorum would be appreciated.
Yeah. Looks like we'll just be down 2, so that should be good. All right, our next meeting is September 12th at noon here in the Assembly Chambers. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.